Yeah, that's how I feel most of the time when I hop on DBD and I start to play Killer. And yeah, Killer really, really sucks right now, and I'm gonna be talking about it. But before anyone says anything, I feel like I have a full entitled opinion to this considering number one, I'm a P100 ghoul. Two, I've been playing this game for almost 7 years. I started playing when Pyramid Head came out, which was the fourth anniversary. Not only that, I also main Pyramid Head and Singularity. These are going to be useful pieces of information later on in the video. This video is also going to be having little to no editing, so yeah, since this is more of a serious video, yeah, there won't be that much. But enough chit chatting, let's get into it. I think that Ghoul hate is genuinely forced considering I have gone up against quite a bit of ghouls when he first came out, but I can't really necessarily say any of them were good. Because looking back, Ghoul was very new. Nobody knew how to play him. Everyone was not really the best. I wasn't good at him either. But in this clip, I am going against a ghoul because, again, everyone was new to him, but now everyone is pretty familiar with him. So in this match, I'm going against a ghoul, and I'm recording because I needed to see what type of MMR you guys are getting because I have yet to go against a really good ghoul, and I actually been wanting to go against a good ghoul. It's just really hard to come across. I wanted to start the match off by trying to find him so I can loop him because it seems like I'm really the only one who knows how to counter ghoul considering I main him. This guy already was doing random hits like out of nowhere that very clearly weren't gonna connect. He finally decides to chase me, but this is where I want to stop the video right here. Knowing you guys, I know a lot and a big percentage of you would get mad at this hit right here. And I also know a big portion of you say he hits you guys through walls. But there's something that a lot of you don't really understand. Look at that desk. Imagine that desk being stacked on top of the other one. That's Kaneki's hitbox with his power. His power is very confusing when it comes to that hitbox. It is basically a giant cube. If you're within that cube, it is basically going to be a hit. If you are anywhere that is not within that cube, then it won't be a hit, but he will get his power considering he needs to get it somehow. So if y'all don't want to get hit by that, make sure you're not within the cube. Think of it as like a pallet. Like the pallet is that cube. That's the range. And you just can't be within that radius to not get hit by it. The killer then proceeds to chase me. However, he definitely does hit a questionable hit, which has a reasonable explanation. And it turns out he was on the wrong server with 300 ping. He then starts to chase me again, but he doesn't really know how to use his power. And again, he's on a completely different ping than I am, so I'm gonna get hit through a lot of bullshit. But also look at that, I was within the cube and I was already injured, so number one, again, he doesn't know how to use his power, and I was within that cube, which meant that was a hit. Once again, using his power in a very wrong manner. I did end up unfortunately losing that match due to his ping and just him hitting extremely questionable hits. But other than that, no offense to him or anything, but he wasn't necessarily the best. But in this next match, I go against not really good Kaneki either. You'll see later on that for some reason he keeps using his power on me just to get it all over again, even though I'm already injured. I don't know why he kept using his power on an injured person. Perhaps to probably get his power more often. I could not tell what it was. Not only that, he kept making a lot of mistakes, such as not committing to chases and just for some odd reason sticking to one gen, even though there was like so many other gens that our teammates could have worked on. And as you saw there, he couldn't really catch me because for some reason he just kept double backing. Also, I just want to make this known, I'm not clicking at him. I usually click to like make sure I'm doing a pallet fake. I know a lot of people usually crouch tech for pallet fakes, but I normally click and it usually works. I'm not being toxic on here. I bring him to this loop to see how he does, because usually Kaneki mains know how to counter this loop super easily. And as you can see, he's not necessarily using his power to its fullest ability here. That's also the gen for some odd reason he refuses to leave alone. He does end up getting it down here on my friend, and I tried a flashlight save, but he ends up baiting me into a flashlight save. And I will say he does do a good job at it. It's just to the point where he chases me away from his body and just doesn't pick him up for some odd reason. He does end up picking him up eventually, and I miss the flashlight save, which is good on him, but then swings for no reason. I end up getting his attention, and then he finally chases me. He uses his power to get downstairs, but then he uses it on me just to get Kagane Leap again. I bring him back to the super safe loop because, again, if played correctly, he can end up getting my down. But instead, he drops me, which actually, in theory, is good on him, because since I'm someone who's not easy to catch, he doesn't want to chase me, and he wants to catch the weaker links. However, again, he uses power on an already injured person instead of downing them. He chases me again, but only to get me off. I gave him one more chance to redeem himself at this loop, but he just doesn't really reach my expectations. Again, using his power the wrong way. You'll see a lot more misplays that this Kaneki does, but for this part of the video, I want to talk about some other things. For people that complain about Kaneki's hitbox, I very much do not see people complaining about something like this. I need someone to explain to me how I am right here and his hitbox is all the way over here. A lot of you complain about Kaneki's hitboxes, and yet I don't see anyone talking about this. He didn't even hit me or hit outside of the pallet. He hit the pallet and it still somehow hit me. Dead by Daylight is so extremely survivor-sided to the point where it's unbearable, because you can't even play casual matches anymore. It feels like every match that I play, I have to constantly be sweating, and I have to run like complete meta builds to even do anything as killer. For example, I can't even play a normal Legion match. All I did was want to play a normal and casual match on stream, and then I just get toxic survivors like this, and I didn't even do anything. It doesn't help that the DBD community is extremely toxic, and especially survivors, because it seems like every survivor is toxic, and they either teabag you or they make fun of you for running meta builds, even though they are doing such as well. Not only that, the killers are the ones who always get the backlash for tunneling or camping, when survivors usually pull something off like this.
Oh my what the fuck? What the yo?
I get that it was 2v8 mode, but 5 gens in the span of 2 seconds was done within that match. Can you even imagine what that would be like if that was a real match? Just survivors just like popping 3 gens in your face within a minute of the game starting? With all the meta builds and perks that there is to absolutely gen rush the killer, there's Also, a lot of pallets everywhere. A lot of YouTubers have also went over this. The pallet density for survivors is extremely safe. There are a bunch of pallets that are safe that can lead to Shack or can lead to a TNL, a jungle gym, or just anything safe. The killer doesn't really have that many options when it comes to looping because the survivor will just rotate right after. Pallet density is a real big major issue when it comes to killer because it's honestly becoming tiring of survivors just constantly finding another pallet after me breaking one already. As I said earlier, my other two mains are Pyramid Head and Singularity, yet even with all of the nerfs, which has been a lot, Singularity is still incredibly strong. Nobody talks about Singularity ever. No one else talks about the fact that he has 4 base kit perks, with them being Spirit Fury, Enduring, Brutal Strength, and Superior Anatomy. People will always argue that there's counters to Singularity like there isn't to Kaneki, when there is. Something I've noticed is that survivors just for some reason don't like to think when they're playing against a killer. They just want to run meta builds, generous a killer, or bully them, and then just move on to the next match and repeat. I don't understand why people don't hate on Singularity more, and I've never gotten that much backlash for playing him. He has full security over all of the generators, a lot of movement options, and as I said before, he has 4 base kit perks. I've said this and I will always say it and I will always stand by it. Kaneki made the game fun again. He brought back killer mains from a very dark spot. It's a real shame too, considering how fast he got nerfed. I want to say he got nerfed within a week and a half. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. The thing that sucks though is that nobody knew how to play against him, and that's why he got nerfed so fast. Now that everybody knows how to play against him, like, people always find a way to counter him, but still hate on him for some reason. Ghoul is undeniably forced, and I will always stand by that, because even the Karasu did not get nerfed as fast as he did. It took at least 2 weeks before she did. I don't care how mad survivor mains get, I think they should revert Kaneki back to his old self, and even if they don't, they can keep his nerfs, but at least give him back his range. His range is so undeniably terrible now, it's honestly nerve-wracking. Obviously, survivor mains would get mad at that and say no, he's good where he is, or just delete him off the game. And honestly, I think that's just a skill issue. You just don't know how to fucking counter him, and it's genuinely getting annoying how no one does, except for ghoul mains themselves. Reverting Kaneki back to his old self, or at least buffing him in some way, shape, or form, could bring back the game for killer mains, because as of now, this game is way too survivor-sided. Dead by Daylight genuinely needs to stop showing too much love to survivor mains, because honestly, it's getting really hard for killer mains, and they don't really seem to pay attention to killer mains at all. I want to say that's probably all that's been on my mind lately. I don't really care how many views this gets or how much likes it gets. I just want it to be known that my opinion is on here. And if you don't really have anything good to say about this video, you more than likely are a survivor main who constantly bitches about Kaneki. So I don't really want to hear your opinion. I do not care. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much else I want to talk about. But if you did enjoy and you're a killer main, please like the video and maybe consider subscribing. But other than that, that's all I really wanted to say. I'll probably post more. I don't know, really depends on my mood. But yeah, I'll see y'all.